1 in 20 homes have this toxin. 1 in 20 homes, and this is by literature, not by my experience. The literature, the scientific literature, tells us that 1 in 20 homes have this toxin. And if you're one of the approximately 1 in 5 people, the 20% of people who are genetically vulnerable, this toxin can wreak havoc on your system. It is one of the few things in the world that I lose sleep over, and is one of the few toxins that I'm really paranoid about, because I've seen it do awful things, from chronic bronchitis and people ending up in the hospital, people getting IV antibiotics, people's immune systems being completely shot, severe weird immune issues, kids losing their mind. Literally, these kids that are exposed are literally losing their minds. They're acting psychotic. Adults can have depression, foggy brain. I've seen some people where the adults are like, "What is going on? I'm losing my memory in a scary, fast way. Am I getting demented? Except I'm only 30 years old. What is going on?" Fibromyalgia, chronic fatigue. I mean, you name it, it can do it. So what is this toxin, and why am I bringing it to your attention? It is mold. 1 in 20 homes, according to the data, some say it's more, some say it's a little bit less, approximately 1 in 20 homes have mold overgrowth. They have mold toxicity. It could be a leak in your roof. It could have been the bathroom that overflowed and still leaking. It could be the front-loading washer that you leave the door closed and there's now fungus growing in the washer. I've seen air conditioning units where the guy that set it up forgot to connect the drain, so there's water sitting in the air conditioning unit, and the air conditioning unit is covered in mold. We've had families where their crawl space has too much humidity, so the mold is coming in from the crawl space into the house. You can be living on a hillside and the retaining wall that's up against the dirt doesn't have proper drainage, so that retaining wall that's up against your house is letting moisture go through and mold grows. 1 in 20 homes. And if you live in one of these homes and you're one of the 20% who's genetically vulnerable, this thing can cause awful things to happen. And part of the problem is, and why we're still not totally aware of it, is it's only been about 50 years that we started using drywall. Before that, they were using plaster, which is basically concrete. Plaster doesn't grow mold. Drywall, which is basically paper compressed, is a perfect petri dish. Add water to drywall, you get mold. It's literally that simple. And this is all in the scientific literature. I'm not making this up. Drywall plus moisture equals mold. We need to be thinking about this. We need to be talking about this. We need to be aware of this. I've had enough families where mom was ending up in the hospital every 2 to 3 months because of a severe bronchitis and antibiotic after antibiotic after antibiotic. We've had moms and parents have severe sinus infections and their sinuses are blowing up and the antibiotics don't work. I've had kids have severe asthma where even inhaled steroids weren't enough. And then we take care of the mold and all of a sudden, boom, their asthma is cured. They didn't have asthma. They had an allergic reaction to the mold inside their house. I've had kids have severe and weird rashes that made no sense. Their skins were just reacting and blowing up. It was mold. And the saddest part of this is what happens to the children's brains. I've seen seizure disorders. I've seen tics. I've seen children lose IQ because they grew up in moldy homes with persistent learning disabilities. And the saddest part are the kids that are just going absolutely crazy. They're losing their minds. We can do something about this. We can prevent this. We can make sure that people and kids don't suffer unnecessarily. And if you don't believe me, totally cool. Just do a search for mycotoxin neuropsychiatric conditions, mycotoxins bronchitis, mycotoxins asthma, mycotoxins rash. All of this literature is out there. The problem is that somehow that literature has stayed in the science world and hasn't translated into the medical world. And that's what we need to do. We need to take all of this information and make sure everyone knows about this. And that's why I need your help. Help get this message out there. We're going to be posting a lot more information on this. This isn't just a single message. You'll see this come up in different ways. I'm going to share cases where I've taken care of kids who have had mold toxicity. And taken them from literally a state of they're basically going psychotic to now the kid that's balanced and happy and regulated. These things are all possible. If we don't talk about this, the poor people that are in these homes and don't know that they're exposed can have all kinds of autoimmune issues, respiratory issues, cognitive issues, learning issues, anxiety issues, etc. Share this message. Let's get this word out there. Thanks for watching. It's Dr. K.